anybody else have the Backyardigans song stuck in their head? It's like having a little library in my own house. Also, do we like my overall look today? I'm liking it. They're very comfy. Hey everyone, what's up? So as you can see from the title of today's video, I'm going to be doing all the books that I read from April to May. I don't think I did a video where I discussed what I read in April, probably because I only read 2 books in April, so I figured I would do what I did with January, February, and March and just put it all into one video. So yeah, in today's video, I'm going to talk to you guys about all the books I read in April and May. Before we get into today's video, let me introduce you guys to the sponsor of today's video. So this video is sponsored by Dossier. They were super kind enough to send me 2 of their perfumes to review for you guys. Okay, so this first one is called Floral Honeysuckle. And on these pieces of papers, it literally tells you each and every ingredient that is in it and also what other perfume it was inspired by. And just to show you guys how big these perfume bottles are, I did not think the perfume bottles were going to be this big, to be quite honest with you. They're actually decently sized perfume bottles. I put this perfume on the other day at work and it just smells so good. If there's one thing you guys should know about me, I'm not a very big like perfume person just because a lot of the perfumes that I've tried in the past are just super overpowering and overwhelming, but this Floral Honeysuckle one is like a perfect in between where it gives you a refreshing smell, but it's not too overpowering, but it still smells phenomenal. This is inspired by a Gucci perfume, which if we know anything about Gucci, they're expensive. So it's really nice to just like use Dossier because they are literally luxury smelling perfumes without the cost. And you guys know me, I'm a broke college student. I don't have time to spend money, hundreds of thousands of dollars on good smelling perfume and just good products in general. That it's really nice when companies like Dossier have luxury quality products without the expensive price added on to it. And like I said, they were kind enough to send me 2 perfumes, so I actually got another one that actually kind of smells, I would say this one smells more formal. So this perfume is called the Floriental Vanilla perfume, and this one smells so fancy but so good. And this one is actually inspired by YSL's Black Opium perfume. And just to give you guys a couple more selling points on Dossier's company, they're clean, vegan, and cruelty-free, which we love to find in a brand because I feel like most brands these days don't have those kind of features, or it's just not in their mission to be vegan or cruelty-free. So again, thank you Dossier for sending me these perfumes. I can seriously not wait to use the honeysuckle one more, and especially the Floriental Vanilla one. I have a couple events this summer, fancy events, that I can definitely use it on. So alright, so now without further ado, let's get into today's video where we discuss all the books that I read from April and May. Alright, so starting off in the month of April, the first book that I read in April was actually the first book in Shadow and Bone. This one took me a little while to get through, I'm not gonna lie, just because at the time I wasn't really getting into Shadow and Bone and I was just kind of like forcing myself to read them because the show was coming out. The first book I actually gave a 3 out of 5 stars to. I originally gave a 4 out of 5 stars to it until I read the rest of the series and reevaluated my star giving review. I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars mainly just because I felt like Shadow and Bone itself, like on its own, like the first book on its own, was just missing something. It was a lot of world and character building, rightfully so. I think the way that Leigh Bardugo did it was very smart, and that the next 2 books in the series were more action and the story plot line, but the first book was definitely a lot of world building and just like character development and basically setting up the plot for the rest of the series. I did take that into account, but like I said, I really didn't enjoy the first book all that much until the end of the book. I want to say maybe the second half of the book. Overall, gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars. It's still really good. Personally, I just felt like it was missing something, but it was definitely a great start to a series. Alright, moving on to the second book I read in the month of April was actually Siege and Storm, which is the second book in the Shadow and Bone series. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I would have given it a 5 out of 5 stars had Mal not ticked me off so much in this book. Alright, if you like Mal's character, I maybe suggest not watching this segment of the video because I am about to destroy his entire character. So the plot of Siege and Storm itself was amazing. I loved every single bit of the plot point. I think it was genius how they introduced Nikolai into this book, and I just thought everything about it, every single aspect of it was just absolutely beautiful. However, with that being said, let me throw in some Mal slander real quick, alright? This book had the most conflict between two characters that I've ever read in my entire life. I don't think I've read a book where there is more character conflict than this one before. Mal and Alina's character development in this book is so tense and rocky that it is oftentimes very frustrating to read, especially when it comes to Mal's character. And if you guys are keeping up on my Goodreads, which by the way, if you don't already follow my Goodreads, you can find it in the description box below. If any of you guys kept up to date with me while I was reading Siege and Storm in April, you will have seen all of my comments about Mal's character and behavior. Oh, and before I get any questions about this, I don't like Alina with the Darkling or with Mal, so I'm neither stan. I think she's better on her own. Anyways, as I was saying, Mal's character in this book was just so chaotic and annoying to the point where every single thing Alina did, and keep in mind, at this point in the series, Alina is trying to do everything she can to stop the Darkling from using the Fold and taking over basically all of the country. So while Alina was off trying to essentially save the entire freaking country, Mal was throwing himself a pity party about Alina not being there for him, or Alina not giving him enough attention, or just Alina not doing exactly what he wants, which was so beyond annoying that I can't even express to you how much I wanted to reach through the pages of this book and slap this man upside the head. Moving on to the month of May and all the books that I read in May. First book that I read in May was actually the last book in the Shadow and Bone series. I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars, but I loved everything about this book. I thought the war scene towards the end where her and the Darkling were fighting for like basically control over the Fold to destroy it or not, I thought it was amazing. Everything about this book was just chef's kiss, literally. The one thing that I did notice about this book is that it was a lot different in the sense of Alina's character development. She became a lot more independent and like, I don't need you type of behavior, which we love to see in development, especially of female characters, because I feel like a lot of the time in series, and also just series in general, where the main character is a female character, we don't see a lot of female character development. I think that Leigh Bardugo did a really wonderful job of kind of developing Alina's character, and it was really, really interesting to read. Moving on to the second book I read in the month of May was actually a book one of you guys sent me, and it's called Genuine Fraud. It's another book by E. Lockhart, which, if that name sounds familiar, E. Lockhart also wrote We Were Liars that I read a couple months back. There's one thing that I noticed about E. Lockhart's writing, and it's that she doesn't essentially write to make you cry or make you feel a certain way. I've learned that from We Were Liars and also Genuine Fraud that her books are more like mind messing. In this book, you can kind of guess what happens, but the thing is I don't think it was really the point of the book to guess what happens. It is how it happens that kind of messes with your head. I know a lot of people were saying that they don't like E. Lockhart's writing, or they don't really like We Were Liars or Genuine Fraud because it was very predictable. I think the point of it is to be predictable, but not in the sense of how it happened. I ended up giving this book a 3 out of 3 stars. Alright, and the last book that I read in the month of May was actually the Discord's May Pick of the Month, which was A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and this book was so good. Wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did. Really just fulfilled everything that I really needed in a murder mystery crime book. You guys know me, I listen to tons and tons and tons of murder mystery and true crime podcasts, so being able to kind of essentially get the form of a true crime podcast in the form of a book investigation was super, super interesting to read. You can kind of predict who did it, but what's, again, the kicker is how it was done, which is mind messing to me. I really, really suggest you guys go read this. Everyone in the book Discord who read it really enjoyed it as well. They were also just freaking out about the ending of the book because it was just like, what the hell? But yeah, this is a really, really good book, and I definitely recommend you guys go read it. Especially if you really, really like true crime stuff and you are like obsessed with true crime podcasts and just anything true crime. I definitely think A Girl's Guide to Murder would be right up your alley. Anyways, yeah, those are all the books that I read in the month of April and May. That's all for this video, and I really do hope you guys enjoyed it. And like I said, if you guys are still interested in Dossier's company, I'm gonna leave their link in the description box below so you can go and purchase one of their many, many, many smelling perfumes that are so nice. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. Anyways, I love you guys all so much, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys. I used to take myself out on dates, open my own damn doors, pay for everything on my plate. Sometimes I'd even get the steak, cause I got it like that. Always had my own bag, never needed no man to rely on. Got two good shoulders to cry on.